Sairam students, welcome back. Here we are with the second part of the second lesson, India before the times of Shivaji Maharaj. In our first part, we learnt as to the various dynasties who had ruled over India. Then we learnt about the invasion from the northwest. We learnt about how the Sultanate of in the north was formed, how it came to an end. Then we learnt about the establishment of the Vijayanagar and the Bahmani kingdoms, and also how did they come to an end. Now in our second part we will see the different power, a new power which came to arise after the end of the Sultanate of Delhi. What is that power? What is the name of that power? The name of that power is the Mughal power. Yes, remember children that the Sultanate of Delhi came to an end when Daulat Khan Lodi had invited Babur to fight against Ibrahim Lodi, who became the last Sultan. So Babur had defeated Ibrahim Lodi and the Sultanate of Delhi came to an end. So the territories which were under the Sultanate of Delhi came under the rule of Babur. Babur was the ruler of Kabul. Yes, he was the ruler of Kabul and he had defeated Ibrahim Lodi. So the Sultanate of Delhi came to an end, and in the year 1526 and Mughal power was established there. So the time when the Sultanate of Delhi came to an end, that time the Mughal power was established in India. Now, who established the Mughal power in India? We already know that. Who was the first Mughal emperor? It was Babur, the founder of the Mughal power in India. He was the king of Fargana in Central Asia in today's Uzbekistan. On 21st April 1526, a battle was fought between Ibrahim Lodi and Babur, where Babur's use of artillery was effective. Ibrahim Lodi was defeated, and this battle was the first battle of Panipat. Here we have the image of Babur, and this is Uzbekistan. So Babur was the founder of the Mughal power in India. He was the king of Fargana in Central Asia. So this is the Fargana Valley which is near Uzbekistan. Yes, in today's Uzbekistan. So Babur was the ruler from that region. On 21st April 1526, a battle was fought between Ibrahim Lodi and Babur, where Ibrahim Lodi was defeated because of the effective use of artillery by Babur, and this battle was fought at Panipat. So this battle was the first battle which was fought at Panipat, and this was known as the first battle of Panipat. We will learn about the other battles of Panipat in our later lessons as well. But the first battle of Panipat was fought between Babur and Ibrahim Lodi. Okay, so over here you can see this is the image of the Panipat. In the map you can see the highlighted part, Panipat, yes, which is in the northern part of our country. Rulers of the Mughal power in India. Yes, so the first ruler was Babur, second was his son Humayun, then it was Akbar, then Jahangir, Shah Jahan and Aurangzeb. So these were the successful rulers of the Mughals, the Mughal emperor. The first was Babur. He ruled from 1530 to 1539. Then Humayun took over from 1555 to 1556. Then it was Emperor Akbar from 1556 to 1605. Then it was Jahangir from 1605 to 1628. Then Shah Jahan from 1628 to 1658. And lastly it was Aurangzeb from 1658 to 1707. So these were the Mughal emperors who ruled over India for so many years. They had conquered major part of the India and brought India under the Mughal rule. Akbar was the most powerful king of the Mughal dynasty. Maharana Pratap, Chand Bibi, Rani Durgavati, all of them gave a strong fight against Akbar when he tried to bring India under his central authority. So out of all these emperors, Akbar was the most powerful king of the Mughal dynasty. And he was so powerful that he wanted to bring India under his central authority, under his central rule. But there were some rulers of India like Maharana Pratap, Chand Bibi, Rani Durgavati who opposed this his bringing India under central authority, and they gave a strong fight against Akbar. So we will be learning about Maharana Pratap also, Chand Bibi, Rani Durgavati, and how they fought bravely against Akbar. First, we'll learn about Maharana Pratap. Yes, the great ruler of Rajasthan. Maharana Pratap was the ruler of Mewar. He continued his struggle against Akbar till the very end for the independence of his kingdom, as Akbar wanted to bring most of the India under his central authority, but Maharana Pratap continued to fight against him so that he would have his independent kingdom and not a kingdom which would be under the control of the Mughals. Even today, he is known for his valor, courage, self respect, sacrifice, etc. Yes, so even in today's time, Maharana Pratap, his example has been given time now and again because of his bravery. Valor means bravery, courage, self respect, and sacrifice. So Maharana Pratap was the ruler of Mewar who fought against Akbar till the very end for the independence of his kingdom, and even today he is known for his valor, courage, self respect, and sacrifice. Then we have Chand Bibi. Chand Bibi was the capable daughter of Hussain Nizam Shah of Ahmednagar. Nizam Shah of Ahmednagar, children, in our first part we learnt as to how Bahmani kingdom was divided into 5 different smaller powers. So Nizam Shah of Ahmednagar was one part of the Bahmani kingdom, one power of the Bahmani kingdom after it disintegrated. So Chand Bibi was the capable daughter of Hussain Nizam Shah of Ahmednagar. She bravely defended the fort of Ahmednagar when the Mughals laid a siege. So at the time when Nizam Shah was attacked by the Mughals, she bravely defended the fort of Ahmednagar when a siege was laid to it by the Mughals. Now all this led to an internal strife among the Sardars in Nizam Shahi kingdom, which resulted in the murder of Chand Bibi. Because at that time, being under taking orders from a woman was considered below their dignity. So this led to an internal strife. There was a lot of conflicts among the Sardars in the Nizam Shahi kingdom. So this resulted that one of her own men murdered Chand Bibi. Okay, so after her death, the fort was captured by the Mughals. Yes, but however, Mughals couldn't get control over the entire kingdom of Nizam Shah. Yes, because there were people who put a strong fight against the Mughals. The Nizam Shah put a strong fight against the Mughals, so they could not take control over the entire kingdom of Nizam Shah, but only took control over the fort of Ahmednagar. Then we have Rani Durgavati, the brave warrior. Who was this Rani Durgavati? Durgavati was born in the Chandel Rajput dynasty. She was a Rajput princess. She became the queen of Gondwana when she was married. Yes, so she was born in the Chandel Rajput dynasty. After getting married, she became the queen of Gondwana. Yes, she was an excellent administrator who struggled against the Mughals with a lot of courage. After the death of her husband, she laid down her life while fighting against Akbar but never surrendered. Children, over here you can see, yes, over here you can see this part, the highlighted part over here, that is the Gondwana region over which where Rani Durgavati became the queen of that particular region. So she was an excellent administrator. She had the knowledge of how to run a kingdom, who fought against the Mughals with a lot of courage. She struggled, she laid down her life, she sacrificed her life fighting against Akbar, but never surrendered to the Mughal authority. Okay, then we have to learn about Aurangzeb, the last successful emperor of the Mughals. Aurangzeb became the emperor in 1658 CE. The Mughal Empire extended from Kashmir to Ahmednagar and from Kabul to Bengal. Later, he added Assam regions of Adil Shahi and Qutub Shahi as well. So, during the rule of Aurangzeb, the Mughal Empire was extended almost the 3/4 part of the Indian country was under the rule of the Mughals. So much territory they had expanded, right from Kashmir to Ahmednagar, from Kabul to Bengal, later even Assam, regions of Adil Shahi and Qutub Shahi was next to it. Over here you can see the highlighted part. Yes, the major portion. Yes, this major portion was under the Mughal rule. This major portion was under the Mughal control. So much of expansion, so much of territory was under the Mughals during the tenure of Aurangzeb. In order to establish their rule all over India, the Mughals had made enemies and had conflicts with Ahoms, Sikh, Rajputs and the Marathas, because they conquered these regions after defeating these powers. The Ahoms, the Rajputs, the Marathas, so they be enemies. Obviously, nobody would want to hand over their own territory to some person who had come from some other country, isn't it? So they believed that the land belonged to their own people who are living in India. So they gave a strong fight. They had conflicts. They were enemies with the Ahoms, the Sikh, the Rajputs and the Marathas. Conflict with the Ahoms. The people of the Shan community settled down in the valley of Brahmaputra. They were locally known as the Ahom people. Okay, the Ahoms had a prolonged struggle with the Mughals. They united under the leadership of Gadadhar Singh and with commander Lachit Borpukhan. They gave an intense battle against the Mughals. So the Mughals wanted the region near the Brahmaputra river under their control, but these people from the Shan community who had settled down, they were locally known as the Ahom. They gave a strong struggle, the strong fight against the Mughals under the leadership of Gadadhar Singh and with commander Lachit Borpukhan, and they gave an intense battle against the Mughals. So the Mughals had the conflicts with the Ahoms as well. Then the conflicts with the Sikh. The ninth Guru of the Sikh, that is Guru Tegh Bahadur, strongly protested against Aurangzeb. Aurangzeb wanted the region of the Sikh regions as well under his control. But the ninth Guru, Guru Tegh Bahadur, strongly protested against Aurangzeb. He gave a strong fight against Aurangzeb. He was imprisoned and beheaded by Aurangzeb in 1675 CE. So again, one of the battles where he was imprisoned, he was put into jail and later beheaded by Aurangzeb in 1675 CE. Guru Gobind Singh became the Guru of the Sikh. After Guru Tegh Bahadur, the next Guru was Guru Gobind Singh. He also put a strong fight against the Mughals. He organized the Sikh youth in a force called the Khalsa Dal. Its headquarters were in Anandpur. So even there were attempts to kill Guru Gobind Singh as well when he was in Nanded. Yes, there were attempts to kill Guru Gobind Singh when he was in Nanded. Soon he succumbed to his wounds. Because of his wounds, he died. So Guru Gobind Singh organized a group of the youth, the Sikh youth, that group was known as the Khalsa Dal. Its headquarters were in Anandpur. And when once Guru Gobind Singh had visited Nanded, okay, so he was attacked over there. Attempt to kill over there was made, and ultimately after some days he succumbed to his wounds, means he died because of his wounds. Conflicts with the Rajputs. We saw that the Mughals had the conflicts with the Sikh, the conflicts with the Ahom. Now conflict with the Rajputs. Akbar had amicable relations with the Rajputs, but Aurangzeb couldn't obtain the cooperation of the Rajputs. Yes, Akbar had amicable means good relations with the Rajput. He had one of his wives, Jodha, as his wife, so who was a Rajput princess. But Aurangzeb couldn't get that sort of cooperation from the Rajputs. So because of that, there were conflicts with the Rajputs. The Mughals had conflicts with the Rajputs. After the death of Rana Jaswant Singh of Marwar, Aurangzeb annexed his kingdom to the Mughal Empire. So after Rana Jaswant Singh, who put a strong fight against the Mughals, the Rajput side became weaker and he annexed his kingdom, the Marwar kingdom, to the Mughal Empire. Minor Ajit Singh was crowned as the king of Marwar by Durgadas Rathod. Durgadas Rathod was one of the strong supporter, or you can say one of the officer of the of Rana Jaswant Singh. He crowned minor, means Ajit Singh was the son of Rana Jaswant Singh, who was very minor, was very small, but still he crowned him as the king. And Durga Das fought against the Mughals. Aurangzeb had sent Prince Akbar to crush the resistance of Durga Das. However, Prince Akbar joined hand with the Rajputs against the Mughals. So over here you could see that Durga Das, he had wanted to fight against the Mughals, did not want the Mughals to take over the Marwar region. And at that very same time, Aurangzeb had sent his son, Prince Akbar, to crush the resistance of Durga Das. But what did Prince Akbar do? Instead of fighting for the Mughals, he joined hands with the Rajput against the Mughals. Yes, he had joined hands against the Rajputs, against the Mughals with the help of the Rajputs. Then we have, how did the Mughals have conflicts with the Marathas? In Maharashtra, Swaraj was established under the leadership of Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj. Shivaji Maharaj had to fight against the Mughals too, along with other enemies. Shivaji Maharaj had to fight the Nizam Shah, the Adil Shah, the Siddhi of Janjira, the Mughals, the Portuguese as well. So he had so many enemies, Shivaji Maharaj. So he, along with the other enemies, he had to fight against the Mughals too, along with the other enemies. After the death of Shivaji Maharaj, the Mughals tried to conquer the whole of South India, but they were not successful. Yes, so in Maharashtra, we already know, we are already aware that Swaraj was established under the leadership of Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj, and Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj had to fight against the Mughals with other enemies. But even after the death of Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj, the Mughal tried to conquer the whole of South India, the Deccan region, but they were not successful, because after the death of Shivaji Maharaj, there was Sambhaji Maharaj. They were successors after them. Then came the Peshwas. They also put a strong resistance against the Mughals at that time. Okay, so that was the the conflicts which the Mughals had with the Marathas as well. Okay, so over here, children, we have, let's see whose images is this we can find. So the first image, it's an activity. The first image is of Chand Bibi. The second image, all these are pictures from your textbook. The second image is of Rani Durgavati. The third image is of Guru Gobind Singh. And the next image is of Maharana Pratap. Yes, so these people had conflicts. They put a strong fight against the Mughals and did not surrender against the Mughals, and tried to defend their kingdom's independence and sacrifice their lives. So this is what we have in our second lesson, India before the times of Shivaji Maharaj. Hope you have understood the lesson, and to go through the lesson once again, if you have your textbook, read the lesson as well, and we can sort out our doubts in our live sessions. Till then, stay safe. Have a good day, children. Sai Ram.